Address and search bar. appzoom.us/86,204,579,304/join from PWA equals 1 and PWD equals U1C1D2 ZAGI 0 CLBBTU 5 ELZVRM Ramut 09 and
in the concern of virtuous purpose, then attachment has no harm. So in Tibetan, there's the attachment made of two words, de chak. So the here you can also understand as desire, or you can also understand as the yun is kind of the worldly existent. Chak is attach. So attach to the worldly existent. That attachment very much infused by ignorant. The attachment, or the desire or attaching to, obtain liberation, attaching to, expressing desire to obtain liberation. Even it can be just a liberation, self-liberation, and no question about desire to obtain full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient being. And that desire is not a negative. And attaching to that objective, attaching to all the tools that which deliver that objective, that the chak, that derpa is also, can say, desire, and attached to that desiring purpose, attaching or stay, very much kind of stay with, be with, completely dissolve into that pursuit, that practice, that path, the objective of achieving enlightenment for the benefit of others, then any action that lead, from it, it is not an action or the karma that that is harmful. But if the desire, here the desire is referring to worldly pursuit, worldly existence, like such as temporal, this very lifetimes, sensual desires. The motivation, caring, limitation, just for one's own pleasure, or just for the benefit of this very lifetime's purpose, then any action that lead, or any action that you involve, any action that you attach to, it can become, it's still cause of suffering, because it's going to lead, even it sounds virtue, even it is not by nature is not a negative, but then creation of the karma, the creation of the action, due to the limitation that it carries in its motivation, in its ultimate objective, then it is still ultimately fall into negative, because it is consequences going to be suffering, and in the form of suffering of change. It may not necessarily be cause of suffering or pain, but it can be cause of the general samsara. It can be cause of the suffering of change, like most of the comfort that we experience in our lifetime, such as good health, like temporary good health, temporary youthfulness, temporary success in status, wealth, health, etc., or any form of essential kind of pleasurable experiences that we experience. These are not the result of the karma, which is by nature is negative. These are the result of karma that form with a collective environment of negativities, or collective environment of limitations, like such as its motivation is very much ignorant. The ignorant is not necessarily intended to limit its accumulation of such karma, but it's very much ignorant of not knowing the more beneficial purposes, and you very much accomplish limited purposes due to that ignorant. Here the limited, as long as the result of the karma is not liberation from karma and delusion, the result of the karma is not beyond or not out of the experience or the existence of the six realms, then that carry the negative impact, and that negative impact very much rooted, very much knowingly or unknowingly initiated by the mind of ignorant, which is not knowing the advantage of liberation, not knowing the advantage of enlightenment, not knowing not knowing the advantage of liberation, then unknowingly you accumulate causes of samsara. So by nature may not be, by nature not necessarily, all the as I mentioned before, all the good things that experience on the basis of the samsaric aggregate, physically, emotionally, all these are result of virtuous karma, but it's not result of dharma virtue. If those actions, if those emotions, if those motivations happen to be dharma, infused by either renunciation, infused by either wisdom of emptiness, either infused by altruism, then the result that what we are experiencing is very much the experience should be unexhaustible experience of pleasure, unexhaustible experience of youthfulness, unexhaustible experience of good health. Very much, we enjoy the youthfulness, we enjoy good health and prosperity, but then that is not lasting, that eventually, change, evolve into suffering. suffering of change, and that is very much fall into the experience of suffering of change. And as long as we experience the suffering of change, the main basis that which make us to experience suffering of change, the pervasive compounded suffering itself, the samsara itself. So therefore, the result of what we are experiencing, even the virtuous karmic result in samsara is still in the form of is still negative, comparing to the positive experiences, which is the true happiness. So therefore, in concern of the attachment, even in the sutric practice, attachment can take on to the path. Unlikely than other emotion like ignorance, aversion like anger, ego-centered, ego pride, jealousy. But attachment is exceptional, compared to all the other emotion. Even in the sutric part, can take onto a path. There's a tool to take onto a path. And that tool is motivation and objective of utilization of the attachment. The tool is that much. So with the heart of bodhicitta, if you utilize, this emotion of desire to benefit others, emotion of, desire to don't want to let go of staying on the path, emotion of desire of, how hardship it is that I want to stick serving the well-being of others. It's still dapa, means wishes, desire, and attached to it, staying onto it. So that's called dacha, attachment. You see, and as I mentioned before, attachment, there's also another way of explanation. As far as concerned with other emotion, then only in tantric practice, there's a tool to transform them onto path, or take onto path, like anger as a take onto path, especially anger and ego. Even for the earlier three tantric practices, action, kriya, yoga tantra, may not have the most effective tool to utilize them onto the path. Only high sukhi tantra, carries that. You see, but so therefore, so there are many statements, like even in the especially those of students of Jebje Lama Soba Rinpoche, after Rinpoche passed away, His Holiness emphasized us to read the name of Manjushri Dharani. Manjushri Dharani. There also there's a statement that taking the attachment onto a path, and in the many sutric teachings, attachment taken onto a path. Yeah. So therefore, by nature, the attachment is not negative. So when we talk about happiness, from the point of view of Buddha Dharma, which is very much talking about the truth, whether either to do with the relative truth or ultimate truth, is talking about the real thing, But that language, you can find clearly in Buddhist teachings, defining what is true happiness and what is not. So beside the happiness of liberation, there's no true happiness. So as long as we live within the bondage of karma and delusion, as long as we live in samsara, as long as we live in we live in this conceptual emotion. As long as we live in others' power, here the others referring to karma and hallucinations. All the conceptual minds are regarded as hallucination. Hallucination, not the way that we understand, not the dualistic way of, thing that we understand. It's not like kind of like, took some medicine and now we start to see two things. They're not talking about that dualistic. Here, the dualistic is referring to the mind apprehending true existence, or mind engaging with its object in the nature of true existence. So the moment we open our perception, the moment we open our six senses, whatever we perceive it in that first interaction is perceiving dualistically, perceiving, in the nature of true existence, perceiving in the nature of inherent existence. So even if you go more deeper level, very much perceiving in the nature of permanent, and by nature, what you see, everything in the nature of impermanent. But there's no wisdom that clarifying that, for the first mind, when the mind engaged with its object. When I see you, even though you're moving, but the first mind actually perceiving as a permanent, as a true existence, as an independent existence, as an inherent existence, So these are all hallucination, and we are very much live under the control of, such hallucinated mind, such hallucinated view, and on the basis of that, and we expresses all different emotions, which are very much negative, even those which are negative even by its nature, but even those of the emotion that by nature may not be negative, but because of that hallucination, what the result that karma, or the result of the action that, the potential that creates out of it becomes negative, it becomes cause of samsara. You see? So, and when we talk about samsara, again, what we really spend our life experiencing is experiencing these three things: suffering of change, suffering of pain, and pervasive compounded suffering. As I mentioned before, even those good things, like before experiencing the real change from happiness to pain, youth to old age, even that goodness, even that favorable kind of experiences is a result of a karma that which we should overcome in order to experience genuine happiness, genuine freedom from suffering. You see, so and worst one is the pervasive compounded suffering, which is our own aggregates, our own, these five aggregates, such as physical aggregates, mental aggregates, composition aggregates, feeling, etc. Very much serve basis to ripen all the past karma into, suffering of pain and suffering of change. It also serves the basis to accomplish all the conditions to make all the past karma to ripen. And not only that, it serves the basis to accumulate all the new karma, that which future time again, that we have to experience the same circle of samsara, same circle of, within the life of experiencing suffering of pain, suffering of change, pervasive compounded suffering. So therefore, as long as the experience that which is free from this aggregates within the 6 realms, in fact, there's no true happiness. And apprehending and grasping those goodness that we experience in our life is regarded as a false view of grasping suffering as a happiness. And the kind of pure kind of belief that we are in a pure kind of human realm. And even that is very much hallucination and is regarded as a false view. Seeing the false view of seeing impure as a pure. Impure because of it is samsaric product, because it's still subject. This aggregate is still serving only to experience these 3 things, and not arrive to experience the experience of liberation. So therefore, that view is regarded as a false view. Then self is empty of it is being permanent. Self is empty of it is being true existent, inherent existent. But then we very much, live in the view of, self as a permanent, self as a true existent. Even in the very gross idea, the idea of that we still plan to meet tomorrow is a permanent grasping. It's in reality there's no guarantee. No guarantee that the next moment is my last moment in this life. But I have so many plans. All these are actually false view. I even bought a ticket to go back to Nepal. And so how deeply we live in hallucination, like at least me, you at least not yet bought any ticket. Yeah, if you have already bought ticket, you're in the same page with me. Those who didn't buy ticket yet, you are much more better. So, yeah, and all these emotions, all these graspings, or all these the mental aggregates, even in it is on that much way of being is living in ignorant. You see, so as long as we live under the control of ignorance, we live under the control of, we will discuss more about that tomorrow, because we're talking about the troubling of interdependent existence. So yeah, so there's no genuine happiness. So that's one thing. Another thing, those, I mean, who are really serious about a spiritual kind of life, serious about finding new ways to acquire happiness, then there's so many valid reasons to be serious about it. There's a valid reason for us to really stick with the Dharma, stick with the spiritual path, and find every ways to not to go back to our old way, even though objective is the same, whether we go old way or the new way, whether we go Dharma way or non-Dharma way, our ultimate objective is the same, which is pursuing happiness and pursuing the tools to overcome misery, suffering, inconvenience, limitations. We may not say in the language, say in the word that I'm pursuing enlightenment. In reality, every being pursuing enlightenment, every being pursuing liberation. Even the dogs, even the cats, even cockroach, even the cockroach pursuing enlightenment, because they're pursuing happiness. And even the cockroach, if you ask to choose, you want temporary happiness or ultimate happiness, lasting happiness, cockroach will definitely say, I want lasting happiness. And the real lasting happiness is only in liberation. There's no in other place. So those who don't practice Dharma, who's not in the spiritual path, those are people who only know about commercial business, but their ultimate goal is for happiness. I don't think they do business for suffering. Is there any commercial people do business to acquire more suffering? I don't think so. Even those people there's so many kind of job, so many kind of finding means to live. Even the reasons that parents send children to school, and the children themselves, putting so hard to, get educated, like to get the grade. His ultimate goal is all for gathering tools to bring happiness. And again, you ask them, you want temporary one or you want lasting one? They will choose lasting one. No one will say, I want only temporary one. I don't want lasting happiness. No one will say like that. So innately, everyone is, pursuing lasting happiness and everlasting happiness and true happiness. You say, you want fake happiness or real happiness? Everybody will say, I want real happiness. And the real happiness is only when you achieve liberation. There's no real happiness in any existence other than, and the liberation is, again, is not something like you need to reach somewhere, need to take a flight. Liberation here is talking about the state of your being free from the control of karma and delusion, and that is the state of liberation. Free of the hallucination I was talking about, and free from ignorance, free from all expressions of ignorance, which are the those different phases of emotion, like attachment, the desirous attachment. Within, now this attachment, I'm referring to the three poison, in that context, not just talking about the overall desire attachment. You see, that from the three poison, all these are different phases of ignorance. We need to overcome. By overcoming that, we're able to overcome all the action that that carry the potential, bring the experience of existing within the 6 realms, which is called samsara, isn't it? So as long as we are free from, karma and delusion, then right there you experience, liberation, you experience lasting happiness, genuine happiness, and that can be achieved within this very body, because it's not about fixing our muscle. You cannot obtain that from going to gym. You have to do the mental gym. You need to get loose of all the delusional fat and gain all the muscle of, wisdom, correct wisdom, beneficial wisdom, the muscle of beneficial attitude, the iman of correct wisdom, wisdom of selflessness. You see, again, when we talk about wisdom of selflessness, we will discuss more detail tomorrow, but wisdom of selflessness, no need to kind of think so hard, philosophically it sounds so hard. It's simply talking about your natural being is a selflessness. Your natural being. We are all the time very much, stay in fabricated or pretended one. We identify the pretended, fabricated me, I, and we interact with the also fabricated, pretended, untrue others, friends, so-called loved ones, so-called stranger. We are not really, we've never been in natural state. The natural state of you is no different than the Buddha, which is completely free of, this fabricated or very much a designed new form of self, which is, in fact, is non-existent. And you claim to be yourself that, and you thought that is good one. And that is like very kind of like very caring. We thought very caring. That's why, you got this self-centered attitude. It's like kind of like it's expressions of how much I care myself, Actually, it's completely false. The false because of the person is false. The person is very much like a kind of, artificial kind of design by the ignorant, isn't it? And now that ignorant, to that person, you have this so many different kind of like world to experience, like, not a peaceful world. Already that self, this false I, the ignorant created the false I. The innate ignorant create the false conceptual idea. The false conceptual idea, which is the conceptual ignorant. That conceptual ignorant created that particular passport, the citizen card, which will identify as I, me. Then you build the world that which is the world that has no kind of like a equality, the world that which is completely imbalanced. Again, by the ignorance, is very much, there's a kind of inner, how to say it, inner kind of, first, you build your own inner world of this different, by this ignorant and, like create its own constitution, its own parliament. I think parliament, not constitution, parliament. So there comes like the very much the ignorant self is very much the kind of president. Then the ego grasping is very much the prime minister. Then attachment is like the home minister. And then anger is like the defense minister. Then maybe the jealousy is maybe education minister. And they have a whole parliament. Then that parliament, deliver the function of your world in relation to the rest of the environment. So there's so-called enemy to deal with. There's so-called loved ones, like object attachment to deal with. Then in between, there's so many other so many imbalanced kind of environment that we have to you have to deal with. So very, very much like that. So there's no peace at all. It's completely unsettled, disharmony, you see. So therefore, there's no room to experience, even for a moment, like genuine sense of peace, genuine sense of peace. Even you aspire peace, but you are unable to experience the peace because of the inner world is like completely messed up, you see. So like that. So therefore, without ourselves like completely free from ignorance, then there's no room for us to experience a genuine sense of happiness. And if we speak a bit lighter way, up to today, very much all of us, our main focus is to find happiness in relation to dependent on the external factors, or worse than that, material factors. We try to, we spend a lot of time that, we thought that through higher education able to bring happiness, but that didn't really deliver the job. Then we thought, okay, maybe now need to get a job, work and earn a lot of money. Maybe that will bring sustainable happiness. But that also is not doing the job, isn't it? Then also thought that maybe should have someone in your life. You engage with somebody. You thought, maybe there you have a lasting happiness, and that also failed. Then after that, thinking maybe have few babies, maybe that will complete, maybe arrive to a kind of like sustainable happiness of life. And that also didn't deliver the expectation. Then after that, thought maybe now put everything, maybe the child's put aside. Let's say, okay, they are now maybe finish college and let them handle their life. Okay, money also quite a lot. Maybe my happiness must be on holiday, vacation, around the world. So you start to, now start to spend that money, to go to this country, that country. And, someday, climb the Mount Everest, someday really like go deep down in the ocean. And on the top of Mount Everest also, didn't manage to fulfill. And deep in the ocean also didn't manage to fulfill your expectation. Then finally, then maybe, okay, maybe go to Himalayas, maybe into monastery, maybe become a religious practitioner. Maybe there must be the happiness, complete happiness. And after you join the religious community or Buddhist community, they also didn't fulfill it. Maybe for some, maybe get worse. So, yeah, and even we search for that fulfillment, like having so-called enlightened guru, and you search around the spiritual community, and you thought, if I have this guru, this yogic in my life, then my everlasting happiness will be fulfilled. And after having the guru also still same, then thought maybe have more. So some have like 3 gurus, 10 gurus, 100 gurus. And someday, the Tibetan Buddhism, there's like Nyingma Kaju Sajya Gelug, you go to search in Gelug, they say, oh, no, my expectation of fulfilled. Still emotion is ups and down. Maybe in Kaju, maybe I go and maybe Kaju Guru may have that solution. Then Nyingma Sajya, but still same. Then you start to go and look for maybe statue, Maybe my everlasting happiness may be in a statue. Then the statue also maybe not a clay, first maybe clay statue, maybe fine. Then after maybe that also didn't help. Maybe you start to buy a golden statue. And that also didn't help. Maybe there must be maybe in the size. And you start to get a big one. Then gradually, now you have a hard time to where to put the statue because you need to move house. You need to downsize. There's so many people having a hard time of where to put my statue because, and there are people, now I'm already like 80 something years old. I have this and that complication. And almost 50, 60 years that I was hoping that complete liberation from this statue, but it didn't happen. But now my children are not really interested. Now I'm having even more anxiety. Where to put my statue? Who to hand over my statue? Some people go through that. See. Then they start to look for tiny kind of relics, very tiny. Maybe at the verge of the last breath, if I put that on my mouth before I stop the breathing, maybe there may be liberation. There may be fulfilled you achieve everlasting happiness, and yes, but you thought this last bit, but then fortunately or unfortunately you start to live another week. But the relics is still already in your mouth. but still the samsara is still same. So okay. And then foods, we try with all the foods, and we try with everything. And yeah, people, try many things. Some are even like not nice to say. People try, maybe there's an everlasting happiness in sex and everlasting happiness in drugs. The people, not only non-practitioner, even practitioner, they already kind of try everything and couldn't find everlasting happiness. And there are people who even get into that kind of the lowest part of their research of their happiness, you see. So when you relate to others, when you relate to yourself, and now I think it's very much time to really get to understand that, liberation is not outside. So that's my point, like liberation is, there's nowhere else except within, except in our concept, except it's in our, very much in our, our awareness. Liberation is just simply in our awareness, you see. And when we think about that, there are many occasions, especially those who conducted quite, good meditation practices, when you're able to, like, as long as the deep, deep, natural, subtle, complete absorption state of meditation, you actually have experienced the liberation. And even ordinary beginner, maybe at least 5 minutes you have experience, or maybe some even about whole day. And that is maybe one of the longest lasting inner peace that you have experienced in relation to all the joy, all the sensual joy that you experience through food, sex, through drugs, or whatever you want to say. And that also in the full awareness, in completeness, in the complete, complete, not only mind, but also the body, like completely in intangulity or in, pliancy, like that, when you those of you have studied the teaching on shamatha, single pointed concentration training, even at the beginning, before even you get into actual training of the 9 level of the concentration training, you already start, even when you start to do the preliminary practice alone, you see, individual practitioners have the capability to experience about 3 hours of complete bliss. Complete bliss. And that is the state where your system is totally free, not purified, but totally free during that 3 hours of time from the influence of karma and delusion. And that is the actual experience of liberation. The only thing is we just need to make more habitual that until it becomes sustainable. So when you achieve that sustainable kind of, that kind of awareness, that kind of being, you arrive at a state of liberation. You arrive at a state of total freedom from, control of karma and emotion, even in this ordinary body, you see. So therefore, from this point of view here, there's a worth pursuing, worth pursuing dharma, worth pursuing meditation, worth, really pursuing deep thinking, thinking inward, not outward, looking happiness inward, not outward, you see. And whatever spiritual practice, the dharma practice, if individual not interested with this term of spirituality, you want to be who you are, like, just like, in the past they call hippie. Now maybe you can call what happy, whatever you want to call, whatever title you want. You don't want to have the tag of a spiritual practitioner, then it's okay. It's okay. You can be who you are, the title, but you can still be a real, like kind of living meditator within, and able, as long as we, we train ourselves in that journey, in the, what do you call, the, those really beneficial, ancient wisdom that which share from, the Buddhist teaching. Buddha Dharma has many aspects, minimum 4 aspects. One aspect is a religious aspect, another aspect, philosophical aspect, then scientific aspect, then way of life. See, so it is convenient for everybody. It's harmonious to everybody. So Buddhism is for everybody. So if you aspire, or if you like the religious aspect of rituals from Buddhism, welcome to do that. You can practice Dharma perfectly from that lineage. If you are not interested in that, but you are fond of philosophical kind of way of, acquiring the wisdom and channeling yourself into that transformation, you can just learn. You can just, how to say, travel the journey with a philosophical lineage. And if you are not interested in that, but you're interested in the scientific way, especially in the West, most of Westerners, they have deep scientific background. You see, especially one of the most profound wisdom in Buddha Dharma is emptiness, and emptiness is exactly the way how you establish the quantum physics, exactly the same way. It's very much about establishing interdependent existing interconnectivityness. The very much idea, the language is very much there. The only thing lacking is the deep observing, kind of training or meditation, absorption meditation. Even those who are already in learning extensive Buddhist philosophy and practicing in Buddha Dharma, but never really, even did a lot of meditation, but more just analytical, but never really put effort to do absorption kind of, single pointedness kind of meditation, then the taste is not there. You can't experience the taste, the actual taste of the path, actual taste of liberation, you see. So now another aspect is way of life. You see, Dharma talks about be loving, be compassionate. It's so beautiful. Be kind, so beautiful. Be selfless, so beautiful. And if you're able to live a life with those values, your life going to be likable. You can be so proud of your life. Even nobody says how good you are, but at least for yourself, you have such a how to say, proud feeling. Because those values by nature is virtue, by nature is beneficial. You don't even need motivation to make these virtues become, this attitude to become beneficial. Just the moment you have that attitude, is by that, because of by nature being virtue, is already delivered the job, you see. And enlightenment will be delivered, liberation will be delivered, you see. So even someone is a Christian background, you can be a great Christian, was a great Buddhist practitioner Christian. You can be a Jewish, you can be a good Buddhist practitioner Jewish. You see, you can be a good Buddhist practitioner free thinker. So it's good for everybody, you see. So like that. Yeah. So anyway, so I'm taking too much of your time. I want to say this one thing about attachment. Go back. This the emotion of attachment in relation to our conventional life, like attachment that you express between couples, attachment you express to your parent, your children. The attachment that you express best is completely for the well-being of the well-being of the others. And this attachment is something that we should develop. It's a good attachment. If any form of expressions of attachment, whether it's in the thought or whether it's in the action, is to do to fulfill your self-centered purpose, then that is to be, purified. That is negative. That is harmful. You see. So, in another word, if it is a well, virtuous, organized attachment, is to be adopted. Disorganized or unmanaged virtually of those, those emotional attachment is harmful, is to be discarded. So with that note, I will stop here. If you have any questions, we can do a few questions. Otherwise, we can stop here. Any questions? No questions? Any questions online? No questions? Okay, then we can conclude here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So without any doubt that from each and every one of us here, individually have accumulated, a lot of virtues, a lot of beneficial energy, beneficial karma. Then collectively coming together, who carry similar kind of motivation, and especially at the beginning, we set up altruistic motivation. So therefore, collectively accumulate unbelievable, beneficial merits, meritorious deeds. Then all the virtues and merit that are accumulated by past Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, gurus, and sentient beings. May this collective merit be a complete cause for numberless sentient beings to be free from oceans of samsaric suffering. It is causes karma and delusion, and actualize from temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness or enlightenment accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. All the inconvenience that experiencing in the world, such as a war, natural disaster, diseases, whether it's in a global level, whether it's in an individual family, whether it could be within one individual person's emotion, whatever disharmony, inconvenience going on. May this collective merit be a complete cause to be, without delay, even a moment, to be free from those inconvenience and actualize peace and happiness and fulfill all the aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the beings who pass away, especially in the last 49 days, especially those who pass away with very painful, death experiences, and pass away in natural disaster, pass away in the war, pass away due to untimely circumstances to cause death. May these beings purify suffering of death, suffering in limited state, suffering of rebirth, actualize next rebirth within Buddha's pure realm, and within that lifetime they accomplish the Buddhahood. May this collective merit be complete cause. All the good people in this world, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all your spiritual gurus, yourself, your family members, or anyone out there, even that one person that being in the service selflessly, very gently, kindly, lovingly being in the service of their aging mother, aging father, grandfather, grandmother, or distress, maybe spouse, children, or relatives, or anyone, or anyone out there who is caring for even one animal. May these people always enjoy good health, long life, have all the resources, for them to able to express all their compassion towards others, and may they fulfill all their aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. May all the virtuous institutions like monasteries, nunneries, the Dharma Center, especially here, Shantideva Center, be free from inner outer secret obstacles and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the virtue, the Dharma, both in extensive learning as well as actualizing realization on the stages of the path. And may this collective merit be a complete cause. May each and every one of us really have the courage to make a decision. I will not behave like in the past. I will change my way of pursuing happiness, and discovering liberation through perfect, complete path, and also through within, then without delaying, even if possible right now, if not within this very lifetime, may I able to actualize state of the most perfected state of liberation, which is full enlightenment. That also for the benefit of numberless sentient beings, like that. And may they dedicate ourselves, the merit that we dedicate, then the purpose we dedicated, everything understood in the nature of lacking of true existence. Everything lies in the nature of selfless. Everything lies in the nature of interdependent arising. So therefore, whatever virtues we accumulate, nothing is wasted. When the conditions are complete, everything will be resolved. Yeah. So with that note, then to short prayers. O Jawade Nudo the Lama Sanje Dubin Roachi Manuba de Sala Gobra Shuchachu Semjo Rimboche Maje Panum Keju Jawanya Bomeba Kone Kondo Peva. Tony Tawa Rimboche Maje Panum Keju Jawanya Bomeba Kone Kondo Peva. Remi Tawa Rimboche Maje Panum Keju Jawanya Bomeba. Kone Kondo Peva Sho Jambeba, which the Kempata Kudo Sambo de Anteshin de Dakuji Soda. Jawa de Datam Jirabdong to Shebe Jawa Tamjet, O Kala Chudong, Dashin Jevet Sawa, Sambo Church Rabdong. Pama Simje Tamjet, then you can Tamjet Dong, the Chanju Samba Conas, the Dagunje Molan do Simje never chini, but you don't let Taju to win an Emma. Tado Juma Mebara should bet on so amic Shino, possibly Simje about Samba Church in Drill Trashi. Thank you very much. And good night, everyone. Good morning to everyone, those from other countries. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
FaceTime.
Your work? This one. More softer.